I've been known to be a little mischievous in the past, and there's been an April Fool's Day or two where I've done a prank, something to get over on somebody else. Never malicious, always in fun. But one of the most memorable ones happened in the early 1980s when I was in high school. When I and a couple friends decided to pull a prank on one of our teachers, Mr. Jones. Going to tell that story this morning on Coffee with Alain. Appreciate you joining me. I have teaching from the heart mug today because I've been a teacher most of my life in different capacities, all the way back in the late 80s with the 2nd ID Scout Sniper School when I was an assistant instructor at that school. My wife is a teacher. I still teach. And we're going to be talking about Mr. Jones, a teacher that I have much respect for and one of the most memorable teachers of my high school career. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but we had a great time learning from him, and he was just a great man in Thompson Falls. Now, he retired the year I graduated, and I told this story at graduation about one of the April Fool's Days that happened while I was going to school at Thompson Falls. Myself and a couple friends had an idea. Let's pull one over on Mr. Jones. And so during the class, it was science class, we had somebody go down to the office. I forget who it was, but they had the office call Mr. Jones out of the classroom. When he left the classroom, we removed all the desks. It was a science classroom, so they had the big tables in the back, where you could do the science experiments and lab experiments. So we took all the desks and we hid them behind those tables. So you just had a big empty room. But that wasn't enough. We had all brought a bunch of newspapers. And so we took the newspapers, crumpled it up, and threw it all over the floor. Then we all hid back with the desks. So when Mr. Jones walked back into the classroom, instead of a class full of students sitting in the desk, working like they were supposed to, he walked into the classroom to a sea of newspapers. The entire floor was just covered with newspaper. And that's what he walked into because we were going to get him and it was going to be a cool April Fool's joke. Going to say good morning to Jay. Going to say good morning to Dixon. No fooling. It's great to be here. So Mr. Jones walks in, sees this sea of newspapers where the desks are supposed to be. A mess. We're all hiding in the back, giggling. We got one over on him. We're going to see what kind of surprise face he has, peeking out from behind the edge. Get this room cleaned up! He just exploded. And he started screaming and yelling and get this room cleaned up, get those desks back. And we all just almost crapped our pants. We're like, oh, boom. And we are cleaning the room and we had those desks back and we're sitting in those desks quicker than you can imagine possible. And we're all just and we're looking at each other. Oh my God, we didn't think it would make him mad like that. Oh, dude. And we just sat there in silence. He told us, you can work on your science fair projects, but no talking to anybody. And I want absolute quiet in here. And just, wow. And, I'm the lead instigator. I was the class president. I was the student body president at Thompson Falls. So I stand up and I start to creep up to the front of the classroom to his desk. And it's going to try to apologize and see what's going on. Mr. Jones, sit down. And I'm back sitting in the room and everybody's looking at me and looking at Mr. Jones. It's like, hey, Mr. Jones likes Alain and Alan's oh, geez, wow. And so everybody just working and quiet the rest of that period. And we had most of the period to go because we did it sort of early on in the period. So the bell rings and everybody and out the door, boy, everybody's just seeing how quick they can get out of that classroom. I sort of stay behind, and the two instigators, the primary instigators with me, there were three of us. I won't name the other two names. they sort of hung out in the hall. They didn't leave as fast as everybody else, but they left and hung out in the hall. I'm the only one. And I walk up to Mr. Jones' desk and I'm like, Mr. Jones, we're sorry. We didn't mean. And he started laughing. He's like, I'm not mad. April Fools. And I about died. And he was laughing as I left the room. And I went outside and I saw my two buddies. He's laughing. He said April Fools. And so then it spread out to the whole school, actually, of what happened. And everybody knew, you didn't want to pull one over on Mr. Jones. We should have known better. He'd been teaching longer than we had been alive. And just a remarkable man, a great teacher, a memorable April Fool's Day that he got us good. Boy, did he get us good. Going to say good morning to Kellen. And I just wanted to share that story. And I hope you have a fun April Fool's Day. Have fun doing pranks that are not malicious and don't hurt anybody. Don't do things where somebody's going to get hurt. Don't do things that are malicious. Do things that are fun, that you can look back, laugh at years later, like Mr. Jones could laugh at our classroom. And even though he's gone now, my fellow classmates and I can look back and laugh at that day where he really got one on us. Everybody have a fantastic Saturday. Happy April Fool's Day. If you didn't catch the active shooter show yesterday, it was sort of long, but I had Jason Brick, Nick Hughes on. Make sure you check that out. You can find all the replays and the audios at enjoylifesafely.com. I will see you tomorrow.